presidents, you know. You made it a hotline, said I made it a hot
podcast.
Hi, and welcome back to the Dead Presidential Society, where every day is President's Day. The only podcast by presidents, for presidents, about presidents. We set the precedent in the present. This is episode number, what number is it, Doug?
6?
Episode number 6, John Quincy Adams. My name is James Fitz. I'm the president of the Hair Club for Men. My co-host is Doug Holmeyer, president of Cannonballs. And our guest today is Ruben Gomez, president of Not Running by the Pool.
Hello, that's me.
That's Ruben.
It only takes one bad experience.
I actually, I was traumatized as a kid, actually. There's a kid who was, like, running by the pool, and he was slipping to go out, and then, like, he was, like, trying to come back. You know, you can't come back once you're already over the edge. Mm-hmm. And he cut his chin on the thing on the side of the pool and, like, broke his chin, like, blood everywhere. They had to, like, cancel the pool for the day.
I have a similar experience, which is the reason I can no longer eat cheese-flavored cup of noodles.
Whoa. I've never even had cheese-flavored
Yeah,
cup of noodles.
they stopped making them because they're terrible.
Oh, they stopped making those?
I think so.
I've never even seen them.
They were like...
I feel like there would have been some kind of protest.
They were like macaroni top ramen.
Yeah.
That sounds good, though.
They were not.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's windy.
It's your ghost.
Oh, wait. Continue.
No, I mean, this is essentially the story.
Wait,
Yeah.
how's that related?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Traumatic experience at a pool?
Oh, what?
That's close enough, right?
Yeah, well, what? You drowned yourself? Yeah, what's the link here?
Oh, okay, well, it was... I regret bringing this up now, in retrospect. I ate a cheese-flavored cup of noodle and then went swimming without waiting enough time, even though that turns out to be not true, and you can go swimming immediately after eating. Apparently it was like psychosomatic, and I threw up all over the side of a pool.
Were you still in the pool?
I was in the pool while I threw. Yeah, no. To be fair, it was like the cleanest place for me to throw up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, not in the pool.
Exactly. And also, I had like immediate cleanup there. So I didn't really have to worry about it at all.
Huh. Do you think it was like the pressure on your stomach?
I'm not sure.
Or was it... Because I thought that it was you're not supposed to swim after eating because of cramps.
I thought it was because of sharks. That was the only thing I had in my mind. So.
In a pool?
Well, then you might have like some crumbs on you or something.
Yeah, and then sharks will materialize in an enclosed space with a bunch of chlorine in it and attack you. And
I wouldn't be surprised.
I didn't
be surprised either. Anyway, John Quincy Adams. So let's begin with our first segment, how we always begin.
My favorite section. You remember, Ruben? How we...
He's going to call you by your... Do you
I was.
by your last name sometimes?
Huh? Gomez? Only in wrestling.
Oh.
Yeah. But I'm fine with that.
But we're not wrestling right now, are we?
No, we're not. I think that's the first time I've ever called you Gomez.
You have a wrestling... That's cool to have a wrestling name.
I mean, I think they called everyone by their last name.
Yeah.
And then I had an AP English teacher who called everyone like Mr., Miss.
Their last name.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had an English teacher like that, too.
Huh.
I did not.
Seems harder.
Yeah.
Maybe it's easier.
Well,
maybe they're always teaching siblings, you know, and you always get the siblings mixed up. Oh, I taught your older brother, and you get them mixed up. Mm-hmm. You go to the last name, you don't have that problem.
That's true.
Like John Quincy Adams, he probably had that problem all the time.
All the time.
Being in his father's footsteps, John Regular Adams, second president. But we talked about that, John Regular Adams in the second episode. No to worry about that. We're talking about First Wives Club.
We got First Wives Club.
First Wives Club.
Our first section.
Our first section
Okay,
of the
First
podcast.
Wives Club.
First Wives Club.
Now you remember John Quincy Adams' wife.
John Quincy Adams, you
Got
got a
it.
wife.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. First wife.
Yes.
Louisa Catherine Johnson Adams. Not to be confused with Abigail. She's the first wife of regular John Adams.
That's why they have different names.
Yeah.
To different people.
Okay, she was the first lady. She was the first lady to be born outside of the United States, or the 13 colonies.
Mm-hmm.
She was born in London.
That's right.
Yeah.
I know that.
Her uncle, Thomas Johnson, later would serve as a United States Supreme Court Justice.
What do you get? You just trying to back up all your facts with me here?
Yeah, no.
We're teaching the world.
Yeah.
Well, you're killing it.
Thanks. Well, he's killing it. I haven't said anything yet. The only factual information I've given out right now is they don't make cheese cup of noodles anymore.
Well, that's important to the people.
Yeah, I'm going to be really upset if they actually do make them, and I just haven't seen them.
Well, don't
Just
they
a
make you
cognitive
sick?
blind spot.
Oh, that they're really on
Yeah.
every shelf, and you just
Literally every shelf.
can't acknowledge it.
I really want to look it up.
Yeah, and I feel like Winco would have it if anywhere would have it.
If anywhere has cheese-flavored cup of noodles, it's Winco.
Yeah, and I feel like you would have searched that aisle pretty thoroughly.
I do
at this
scour the boxed noodle aisle on a regular basis.
point. You more than anyone I know. But
I'm not sure how to feel about that, James.
you have a whole bit about boxed noodles.
Yeah, but they're on different aisles. Jesus.
Yes, that's why I don't know. You're the expert. Anyway,
Are you looking up cheese cup of noodles?
Yeah.
Do they make them still?
Yeah, you can buy them at Walmart for $1.48.
Ah,
Walmart.
that's way too expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait.
Is that for one? It's a single cup of noodle?
I think it is.
Whoa,
That's
that's
ridiculous.
Much.
That
Those
is
should be like
expensive.
25 cents.
Yeah, that's like 5 times.
It doesn't even have meat. Usually meat is more expensive.
I
than
totally
cheese.
remember these.
Like if you get a meat pizza instead of a cheese pizza.
Yeah, no, it was
Yeah.
just like,
The noodles are like flat.
it
Oh.
was like just weird macaroni.
Call it macaroni. Louisa Catherine Johnson Adams. She got married to John Adams when she was 22. He first showed interest in her older sister and eventually settled on Louisa.
That's...
Which, I don't know how I'd feel about, how would you feel about that if a guy's like, hey, I like your sister, but she won't have me, so you're the next best thing.
Well, I mean, if we're in the period, I don't know if I'd have a choice to feel anything.
Yeah, I guess that's probably it.
No, me, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that's a bummer.
But it probably happens a lot,
It does. I'm sure it does. Yeah.
I mean, or maybe the older sister would feel bad, then she would get jealous, because she had the chance. That older sister had the chance of marrying a president, and then the younger sister got to marry the president, and then you're like, oh shoot, I should have. I thought he didn't do his dishes, so I didn't want him.
That reminds me of people I meet all the time. I think of now, it's like that maybe someone I'm friends with or I'm not friends with anymore. One of those things, like maybe would have dated this person. Like, how many of those people have we already met now that, like, 10 years down the line,
It's like,
will be really famous or will be the president?
Yeah, exactly. I should have married everybody.
Should have married everybody.
Yeah.
Sounds like a hit country song.
Should have married everyone. Bow, bow.
Because all you need is one of them to be Bill Gates, and then it splits it all even.
Yeah. So what we're saying is polygamy. Try it out, folks.
Yeah. Anyway,
You're from Utah, right?
Yeah, I am.
Louisa Catherine Johnson Adams, her father.
Oh, this is very interesting, and this leads into my favorite section.
Oh,
My
Doug's
personal-
favorite section.
So we've talked about some of the females on the show,
First
but
one's
now it's time to talk about some of the males on the show, and I'm talking about the
Post office.
post office.
God damn it. God damn it. Did you just ad-lib
How to
that?
talk about
No,
that.
No, I've used that in almost every single episode. I ad-libbed it once.
Religiously
And
scripted.
Yeah.
then it was there for later.
Everything we've said has been scripted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even this conversation. Right, the post office.
Post office, tell us about it, Doug.
So Louisa Catherine Johnson Adams had a father, as most people did back then, who went bankrupt, and so
Pretty sure every person has a father.
I don't want to assume in this day and age.
Oh.
Um,
That's true.
Yeah.
You could have been adopted.
Yeah.
Well, then you still have a... Who went bankrupt, and so John...
Jesus.
Jesus had a father.
Yeah, I guess you're
It's
right.
called God.
Yeah. I guess we all have a father.
Yeah.
The all father.
Yeah. Just God.
Yeah, he's our all father.
Pretty sure that's the name of Odin.
Oh. Well, then I guess we got two fathers.
That's
2018.
not my country. All right. We sneak that into the line of the country song.
Yeah, let's marry everyone, but not that many parents. I want to be the parents, not have parents.
All right, I'm not sure how we're going to rhyme that, but... John Quincy Adams' father-in-law went bankrupt, and so President John Adams appointed him as the U.S. Director of Stamps.
It's a good patronage job.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
He's like,
The
hey,
Director of Stamps.
I know you need a job over here. You're bankrupt, so I'll give you this stuff. I don't want you messing anything up, so you can be in charge of stamps. And I think he did a good job.
That sounds like a solid gig, honestly.
Yeah.
Is that when stamps? No, I mean there were stamps before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for 4 years previously. Well, and there was the Stamp Act. John Adams. We talked about this in the John Adams episode, but there was the Stamp Act. That was one of his trademark things that he fought against was taxation on stamps before the American Revolution. But we talked about that in the John Adams episode.
Okay.
Anyway,
Well,
her father died of severe fever and some mental problems. So I don't know what that really means, but
Probably from
it's
dealing
probably
with stamps.
Yeah, it's probably from the stamps.
Yeah.
I heard if you lick too many stamps, you go crazy.
Well, stamps used to be made, the adhesive used to be horse, ground up horse hooves.
Oh, I thought it was toad skin. They're made
What do you think
Yeah, that
stamp
sounds right.
adhesives were? Toad skin?
Toad skin, yeah.
Yeah.
That would make sense. Because,
That's actually why email was invented. It's because the EPA classified most toads as endangered species, so we couldn't have stamps anymore.
checks out.
Yeah,
Checks
you'd
out.
have to
Yeah.
you'd have to
Yeah.
use a big package and then maximize your stamps.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah, it was getting to a point where forever stamps were the best investment you could make.
Have those been around since the beginning?
I don't think so.
I think we talk about that episode 14 when the guy who invented posted their forever stamps.
Yeah, no,
Sometimes.
my grandfather, because apparently for a while, the price of forever stamps was outpacing inflation.
Ooh.
So my grandfather invested in forever stamps, before he died, and, tried to bequeath them to me. I bought all of these stamps. They're good forever. This is pretty much just money piling up. It's all yours. And I've never used any of them.
Are they still just sitting somewhere?
I have no
Yeah.
idea where they are.
How many could you have that would be worth anything?
I mean, he bought them, before they increased the price of forever stamps. And so the nominal price he paid back in, 2005 is...
It's 5% less than the.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
increase.
no, because it's been more than that because stamp, and then the price of inflation.
I thought you were thinking.
So the price of stamps has
way when he was young, not 2005.
No, this is a fairly recent thing.
That was right
Didn't
before
even
the
have time
recession,
to-
right?
Yeah,
invest.
so I mean, which sucks because during the recession, inflation was actually negative for a bit, so we were losing money on stamps.
Oh no!
Yeah, I know it was a tough time for everybody.
I mean, even if you had 1,000 stamps,
Yeah,
that'd be $100.
it's $500.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, that's pretty good.
yeah, it's all right.
Can you resell? I think.
I don't think so.
Resale
I'm not sure you can
value?
resell stamps.
Just standing
Wait,
outside
then why
the
do you
post
have
office.
them if you can't resell them?
No,
What do do
you
with
can
them?
use them as stamps.
Oh, I see.
You go to a business or something, be like, hey, I know you need to mail stuff. Just give me I'll give you a discount.
Did you do? What was his intention to run a dark web?
No, his intention was to buy stamps So in the future, he wouldn't have to buy stamps at a higher price.
I hope you can give that to your grandchildren.
Yes, I'm going to keep these
You
stamps.
gotta keep them forever.
Yeah. That's the point. That's
I
why they're
wonder
forever
if they
stamps.
actually hold up for a very long time.
Or like physically,
Mm-hmm.
they could erode. Just don't keep them in the sun
Yeah.
or in a moist place. Just put them in a box.
Put them in a cryogenic freezer.
Yeah.
They will definitely keep the investment. Like, fantastic.
So, back to First Wives Club. She had 4 kids. She named her first... she and John Adams, Quincy Adams, they named their first son George Washington. Huh?
They would.
Yeah, pretty...
That makes sense. I think that sounds... Yeah, that sounds right.
It makes sense until you think maybe they should have named him after John Adams, his dad, the president.
Was he president at the time?
Well,
What's the timeline on this?
John Quincy Adams was president at the time.
Right.
And he had a son while he was president. Okay? And his mom thought he should have named him after his dad and named him John Adams. But instead he named him George Washington. He's like, well, I gotta admit, even though if I'm gonna name him after a great president, I gotta name him George Washington, even though my dad was the other president. And there's only been 5 other presidents. You're not gonna name him James, I guess.
Maybe you didn't name him after a president that hadn't been elected yet. Like, there's just going to be this fellow named Abraham Lincoln eventually. He's going to be pretty swell.
I'm gonna name my son after him.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he named his first son George Washington, and his mom got mad at him. She said that she thought the decision was ill-judged and wrong, adding that John Adams also seemed offended. So she wrote that in a letter. She was famous for writing a lot of letters. Abigail Adams. George's grandmother. George Washington, not President George Washington. Anyway, her second son they decided to name John Adams II. Not John Quincy Adams Jr. John Adams II. Which is one of the worst names because his dad, John Adams, the second president.
He's the second.
John Adams, the second president. We talked about it in the second episode.
It's okay, so John Adams, the second president, is the first John Adams, whose son John Quincy Adams is the sixth president, whose son John Adams is the second, is not John Quincy Adams the second, but is instead
John
Adams the second,
But
after the second president.
yes, but John Adams, the second president, we talked about this in the second episode, he's actually John Adams Jr. His dad is John Adams Sr.
What?
So, his John Adams, his dad is John Adams Sr., his grandson is John Adams II. That doesn't make a lot of sense.
No.
Anyway.
You want to turn that off? This is a podcast, Doug.
This is serious business. Anyway, so John Adams II, he studied at Harvard, but he was expelled during his senior year for participating in a student rebellion. This is actually like this student rebellion is kind of where the Animal House is based off of. This rebellion, this class of ne'er-do-wells, these students, they were. Because as you might know, the Animal House was written by
Animal Farm.
Started
Is Animal House a different thing?
the Harvard
it's a very different
Lampoon.
thing.
I don't know what that is.
It's a movie with it's a funny movie.
John Belushi's in it.
Okay.
Anyway, it was written by Harvard Lampoon guys, and I guess they kind of based it off of this historical event in Harvard's history. So they were like a bunch of like pranksters. They were like known for being pranksters this year of Harvard students, and they were like they like threw a cannonball off the top of the building, or like they stole a guy's bathtub and then like filled it with wood and lit it on fire in the middle of campus. Right? So, funny pranks or whatnot. But then there was this other group, this like group of 10, 15 kids who would snitch on them all the time. They were just like snitches. Mm-hmm. And so they were constantly getting each other in trouble and then pranking each other and getting each other back, right? Until it got to this point where like there was a big there was like they were running for president of campus or something like that. And the cool kids had their leader who wanted it, and then the snitches had their leader, and they went up against each other. And during the snitch's speech, everybody in the crowd hissed for 5 minutes straight. They just hissed.
For the duration of the entire speech?
Yeah, and he got so mad that he found out who organized the hissing and got him expelled. Right?
How do you get someone expelled for hissing?
I don't know.
It's always a loophole. It's always a way.
That's why there's no snakes at Harvard.
Yeah, they go to Gryffindor. Or Slytherin. Ugh.
Yeah,
They're slithering
they wouldn't
away.
even.
They're slithering away.
Yeah,
Those
that wasn't
snakes.
really a funny joke if it had been worded properly.
Anyway, so then they got those kids got expelled. So then all the cool kids were like, "We're not going to go to class with this snitch anymore." So if every time he went to class, everybody would leave, right? Until it got to a point where the president was like, "You can't just leave." So then they're like, "All right, well then we're getting rid of snitch guy," and they just threw him over a balcony, like down the stairs. They just threw him out of the classroom. Anyway, one of the guys who threw him was John Adams, number 2. That's how that's all related.
Which is crazy, because in Quidditch, you usually try to catch the snitch.
That was good.
Yeah, that's why I've been silent for the past 3 minutes.
Well, it's a long story. Anyway, they were expelled, but they later, like 40 years later, Harvard gave them their honorary degrees. I think because John Quincy Adams became president. Anyway. John Adams.
That reminds me of my favorite section.
Wait, I have more on John Adams the second.
Oh, all right.
Did you have something on here?
No, it was a lull in the conversation.
Oh, no, John Adams II. So there are 3 brothers, John Adams II, George, and then their younger brother, Charles. He's kind of he didn't get named after a president at all. Anyway, they all fell in love with the same woman.
Wait, the 3 brothers?
The 3 brothers, they all fell in love with the same woman. Their cousin, Mary Catherine Helen.
That was back when this was okay, right?
Yeah, she lived with their family after the death of their parents, and they all fell in love with her.
What?
Yeah. But anyway, John won, and he got to marry her, and both of his brothers refused. They got married at the White House. And both his brothers refused to attend.
And then threw him down a flight of stairs.
There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
First of all, that's a lazy choice of venue.
Let's just do it at the White House.
Yeah. Let's just do it at my dad's work.
My dad's office has a nice spread. Yeah, and then all 3 brothers fell in love with the same. I mean, and then it's also she's the most convenient person to fall in love with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like the girl at your house.
You think that's why they got married? It's just she happened to be at the White House.
She was already there. Let's do it. And then the other brothers got mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you would if you couldn't marry your cousin.
I'm curious to see how, like, the montage of, like, all of them trying to sway her, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like what was it?
Like a
Like,
three,
why did she choose him? Did she choose him? Like,
Yeah.
what were the specific circumstances?
like a
there, you
Three Stooges situation.
Yeah.
I imagine them in like a triangle, each calling her name like a dog.
Like an Air Bud?
And then she has to like go. She's like, which one is calling my name better? Yeah, just like Air Bud. That's
Yeah.
really it's Air Bud. That's what I was thinking.
Are you sure you're not just thinking Air Bud?
Well, I was
Well,
actually
that's-
thinking it also happened in Henry Huggins, in Ribsy. It's like a children's book. Beverly Cleary. Yeah.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, she married John. Charles, however, you might remember him from the Martin Van Buren episode.
Oh, yeah. He was a vice presidential candidate in the 1848 election for the Free Soil Party, right?
Yeah. You remember their campaign slogan, the Free Soil Party?
Campaign slogan.
Oops, shit my pants.
Yep. That's pretty close. It's pretty close. It was actually free soil, free speech, free labor, free men.
Free man.
Yeah, that was the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
It was about
Free men.
having not slavery on the new states.
Oh.
That was their...
For some reason, my mind went to like free men of their wives.
Like, we're free! It's like gallivanting a lot with their
Free
arms in the
men
air.
from their cousins.
Free to do what I want. Any old time. Anyway, he also served as the United States Minister to the United Kingdom during the Civil War, where he played a key role in keeping Britain neutral.
Oh. That's...
In the Civil War, Britain remained neutral because of him, I guess. I guess that's good.
Is it?
Well, you think you'd want him on your side.
Yeah.
Not neutral.
I mean, depends on which way they were leaning.
Oh, yeah. If they're like, hey, let's join the South. And they're like, hey, maybe you should stay neutral on this one.
Yeah.
Well played, then.
That probably was going for your own side by keeping them from the other.
Right.
Yeah.
And his son, Charles Francis Adams Sr., his son, he named him John Quincy Adams II.
Oh,
God damn it. God damn it.
Wait,
So that would make him a junior, right?
no
No.
one makes him a second.
because,
Wasn't there
okay,
already
so
a second?
John Quincy Adams had the son Charles Adams,
Oh,
and then Charles had the son John Quincy Adams II, kind of similar to how John Quincy Adams had the son John Adams II.
Got it.
And John Quincy Adams II, he had a son, John Quincy Adams Jr.
Don't you love how these people were in charge of every major decision for about
Junior.
16
That
years?
makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
He named him Junior. He was already the second. He named his son Junior. He was the second junior. Yeah. He was the first second junior, though. Yeah, I think we're probably done with presidential first. Or First Wives Club, I mean. Our first section.
I think you just name dropped the name of our second section.
Ah.
Our second section is also about first. It's called Presidential First.
Hey, it's unprecedented.
That's unprecedented.
But I'm bummed.
Anyway, John Quincy Adams. What was he the first president to do? That's
A
what we
lot
would
of
talk about.
stuff.
He was the first president to
Oh.
have a father who was also a president. John Adams.
So how many more of those are there?
How many more presidential firsts are there?
Or had a son.
Was there a second president who had a father as a
Yeah,
president?
there was Bush.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
Bushes. Is that it?
Then there was a grandfather, grandson.
Yeah.
Who's that?
William Henry Harrison and Benjamin Harrison.
Oh.
Yep.
He was the first president whose father lived to see him become president. His father, former President John Adams, was still alive when he took office. All the other presidents before him, their fathers had died by the time they were president.
All 5 of them. You might not know this. He was the first president to have a son marry at the White House. That's interesting, isn't it?
John Adams II. He married the cousin.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lazy.
He was the first president elected despite having received less votes than his opponent. It was because of the way that he lost the popular vote, but he won the electoral college.
Yeah.
He was the first one to do that.
Got it.
He was the first president to have sideburns,
Does that mean it's time for presidential hair?
or lack thereof.
Or lack thereof.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Presidential hair or lack thereof.
That's pretty much it.
He has the first president with sideburns.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is interesting because I'm pretty sure sideburns were named after a
General George
General
Sideburns.
George Burnside in the Civil War, I think. So how do you have sideburns before sideburns are a
Before
thing?
Burnside.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe there's more than we know.
But I was always wondering about sideburns. They're on the side. Like, it seems like that's where it's named after. They're like burns on your side.
Maybe it just went so well together. That's why they flipped it, you know? So, like, oh, this actually makes sense.
Burnside sides burns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen the picture of his sideburns?
No.
No.
Very
Really
bushy.
huge.
Very bushy.
Mm.
You gotta really go for it if you're the inventor of
Right.
facial hair.
Yeah. Side beards, really.
Yeah. They're like beards on the side of your face.
Why don't they call them side beards? Because of Burnside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His name was Beardside.
Yeah.
Over the shot.
If Burnside never lived, they would probably be called side beards.
Probably.
That's logical.
That probably is true. He was the first president to have been inaugurated wearing long trousers instead of knee breeches.
It was a knee breech.
They're like shorts, but with like long socks.
Oh,
You
yeah.
like tuck the sock. I mean, they go past the knee, but just barely.
Do they, like, strap their socks onto, like...
Their shoulders.
Isn't there some kind of
Suspenders?
connection? Yeah, like suspension.
They
Like
do have a kind of
garter.
thing. Yeah, because they didn't have elastic in their socks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes.
You seem like the kind of guy that would...
I seem like
that
the
would
kind of guy
have
that would
garters.
attach my suspenders to my socks.
Yeah. Have you ever done that?
No, I haven't.
No, but one time he was wearing suspenders during the podcast. And both of the suspenders flew up over his head from the back.
Of course, that won't happen for another 14 episodes, everybody.
It's really funny, though.
That is funny.
He was the first president to serve in Congress after his presidency.
Why'd he go back?
Sometimes you need work in your life.
Mm-hmm. If he was passionate, I guess.
Yeah.
He was the first president to have been born in the same city his father was born. Which means, I think that segues nicely into one of my favorite sections, presidential birthplace.
Do-do-do. Presidential birthplace.
Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
We have a
guess
theme
that's not
song.
really
We have a
song.
jingle for that now.
No, do you want to come up with
Boop-a-doop-a-doop.
presidential birthplace
Yeah.
jingle?
Do-do-do. Presidential birthplace.
Oh, that was
Yes.
so good. We should. You're gonna come up with more of those.
I'm going to do one for every
Presidential
segment.
birthplace. Yes, I'm
Yeah.
saving that. Anyway, he was born in Braintree, Massachusetts.
Braintree.
Yes, you might remember that from the John Adams episode. But it's the same birthplace as General Sylvanus Thayer, known as the father of West Point.
Sylvanus. What is it?
Sylvanus Thayer.
Thayer.
Yeah, he was the father of West Point.
Also, Jim Calhoun.
He's the UConn basketball coach.
No, University of Connecticut, not the Yukon, as in where the gold rush was.
Yeah,
Got it.
they don't have a very good basketball
Oh,
No.
Okay.
team.
Yeah.
University of Connecticut. Okay.
Also, my personal favorite, William Rosenberg, the creator of the Dunkin' Donuts chain,
Ah.
who you matched on. Okay.
Yeah.
You matched with a Dunkin' Donuts on Tinder.
Yeah. That was my only match.
Dunkin'
It
Donuts.
was Dunkin' Donuts.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is still one of the funniest things I've ever heard.
Yeah. I never put Dunkin' Donuts in my mouth until I went to New York. And,
Is that where you met?
yeah, that's where I met. That's where we hooked up.
I don't.
Coffee's not bad either, actually. I was impressed.
Never been.
Either
I don't
way.
think they have them out here.
Hmm.
No, it's an East Coast thing.
Wait, did you match over here or did you match in New York?
Oh, it was over here.
What?
Interesting.
Yeah.
What were they doing? Were they just visiting?
No, I didn't.
They had, like, under their bio, just like in town for a weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a little stand set up. The glory hole.
Back to first.
Anyways.
Back to unprecedented.
By the way, this is a clean podcast.
Oh yeah, we beep out. We use.
It's a donut. A glory hole is a donut.
Is
it's a
it?
donut. It's what they call their donut holes. It was on the 4th of July.
No, you're right.
Wow,
All
They call them
that's
glory
I won't
holes.
beep. I
terrible
won't
name.
bleep
So
it
I don't know
out
what
then.
you're talking about, Doug.
Will not bleep it out then.
You
But we
win-
do.
You win this time, Ruben.
He was the first president to be succeeded by a president older than him.
Okay.
Andrew Jackson, the next president, was older than him.
He's on the dime, right? No.
He's on the
He's on the
$20 bill.
fiver. No, he's on the 20. Lincoln's on the 5. Yeah.
Time for our next section?
I think so. And it's my favorite section.
It's one of our guests' usual frequent favorites.
Okay. You need a jingle for it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Presidential pets.
The pets of the president.
Yeehaw! Mmm. Pets of the presidents.
All right.
That's good. It doesn't quite match for the pets of this president, though, because he had silkworms.
Oh.
I don't know what noise silkworms make.
He also had an alligator.
It's an alligator fighting. That's me trying to do.
It was actually a French alligator given to him as a gift from the Marquis de Lafayette.
So,
Yeah. Do they... There aren't alligators in France, are there?
there would have been alligators in Louisiana, which France was in control of.
Oh.
Right?
That makes sense.
Yes.
No, that was...
No, the Louisiana Purchase was done by Thomas Jefferson.
But there was still a heavy French presence in the area, so I'm going to take that as a win for me.
Yes.
Unless you want to explain how there's alligators in France.
The Nile. There was French colonialism in Africa.
You know, they say if you jump off a bridge into a river in Paris, you're insane. All right.
All right, time for presidential parents.
Oh, everybody's got them.
What are they up to?
Presidential parrots. I mean parents.
My president has parents.
So his dad was John Adams.
Did you even do this one?
We did talk about John
yeah,
Adams,
yeah.
but actually we talked about that. We talked a lot about this in the John Adams episode, so we'll probably go over a little just kind of brief stuff. Anyway, his dad was second president. Mm-hmm. His mom, Abigail Adams, was the second first wife.
Yeah.
Wait, so that means 3 of the presidents weren't married?
No, John Adams was the second president.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm.
So his wife was the second first wife.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should we go to our next section?
I think so.
I don't have any more on the presidential parents, really.
And it's one of my favorite sections.
Oh, which one is it?
Yeah.
Heights of Power?
Heights of Power.
Oh, that's a good one.
Heights of power.
This is where our guest guesses how tall the president was.
Ooh. 5'10.5".
Ooh,
You're pretty close. Yeah, you're pretty close. You're an inch and a half off.
6 feet tall.
6 feet.
6 feet tall.
Yeah,
Exactly
6 feet tall.
1 fathom.
Unfathomable.
Yep.
Time for our next section. Presidential birthdays.
I'm sorry, just the energy's really low right now.
Our president was born on...
President John Quincy Adams.
John Quincy
When
Adams.
was he born?
We like our guest to guess what day the
Oh,
president
yeah.
was
I
born.
keep forgetting to do that.
August 23rd.
Oh, you're so close.
July 11th.
Yeah.
The same day as Jacques Cousteau.
The same year, too?
No, not the same year.
Wow.
The
Big
same...
whoop.
The same day as Johnny Carson.
Same year?
Not the same
No,
year.
no.
Who gives a shit?
The same day as Orson Welles.
Okay, that's
No,
clearly not the same year.
Yeah.
The same day as... Doug, I'm going to need help pronouncing this one.
Oh, Boudica?
Boudica, purportedly.
Yeah.
Boudica?
Boudica.
And
The
the sa-
leader of the Celtic nations.
Oh.
The first female.
Oh.
Like,
That sounds really
well,
important.
yeah, she was...
More people should know
Yeah.
about her.
She's like 100% of the things I know about her stems from Civilization 5.
She's one of the...
She's one of the people.
Got it. Well, that's cool. Okay.
And also,
Born the same day as Demure, the Beanie Baby dog. You know, Beanie Baby.
Yeah. That's good. I like that.
Now we've talked about this. Obviously, John Quincy Adams is no longer with us. But
This is the Dead Presidents Society.
This is. So at this point, we need to figure out if the spirit of John Quincy Adams is still with us, which leads us into
Presidential Ghosts.
This is the part of the podcast where our guest, we ask our guest if John Quincy Adams turned into a ghost.
What do you think?
Yeah.
No.
Everyone
no.
turns into a ghost.
Nope.
No,
So
what?
there's no such thing as
Ghosts
ghosts.
don't exist.
Oh, wow. God damn it.
Dead presidents, you know. Uh-huh.